Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing very well today. So today's video is going to be about products that I regret buying. I feel like I am pretty positive overall on my channel, which I'm obviously very happy about. Please don't mind that my face is lighter than my chest and my shoulders. Just ignore it. I even added bronzing drops to my foundation and it's still lighter, but I'm using a gradual tanner, and I've also been walking a lot outside, and so I just feel like I am getting some sun, which is really nice. But anyways, I feel like I am pretty positive on my channel, and that is a great thing. I love being positive, but sometimes I just feel like I need to also talk about some products that did not work out for me, some products that I maybe regret buying, you know? Maybe it's one of those things where I'm just kind of like, look, these things I kind of wish I didn't buy. Here we are, let me share them with you. So let's go ahead and get started. Quick disclaimer, that does not mean that any of these products are not good, okay? These products, some of them are really good. I just feel like I don't use them very often, or maybe they just don't really fit into my makeup routine or my makeup style. So let's just get started. Also, it is 4th of July when I'm filming this. My husband is working right now. He works full-time, of course, but he is also a barista part-time, and he's working this evening. So I am actually by myself right now, but it is fine. I am drinking some wine. Cheers. And if you are watching with me, I hope you're able to relax and have a drink as well. So let's get into it. I'm really excited. All right, so let's go ahead and start with, you know what? I always start with primer. Let's start with eyeshadow. How about we do that? So firstly, this was very expensive. This was very expensive, and I'm so bummed that I purchased this because I just don't use this, and it's so beautiful, and I don't think that it's a bad palette. And I'll be honest with you, I think I only used this a few times, which is so upsetting given the price. And it's the Danessa Myricks, and this is the Groundwork Blooming Romance palette. And this is actually the palette that came out this year. This is her second addition to her Groundworks eyeshadow palette. The first one she came out with was definitely more neutral. It had more brown tones, and I do not use this. I regret buying this. I think this was $65. I did use a Rouge Reward on this, but that hurts me even more because those Rouge Rewards cost 2,500 points, and it takes me forever to earn those points at Sephora. And so given the fact that I had to save all those points and then I completely used it on this, like, I'm just really bummed about it. I think the shades are really beautiful in here. These are definitely my kind of tones, but I just don't use this. I think I need to, and unfortunately I wasn't able to return it because whenever you use a Rouge Reward on a purchase, you cannot return those items because you obviously used points, right? So I'm just kind of stuck with this palette. I need to play around with it some more, and I need to maybe just force myself to use these maybe as blushes. I know that that sounds really unhealthy, and I never want to be someone who like forces myself to use my makeup, but I just this was a tough one, and I'm very almost like upset to admit that. I kind of regret this purchase, but it's okay. I feel like I would have been curious about it. I feel like it would have been on my wish list for a while just because of how beautiful these tones are. But yeah, I should have maybe waited. But anyways, there's that one. Then we have this eyeshadow palette, and this really, again, there's nothing wrong with this formula. I do feel like this is a stellar product, but it's the Flower Beauty Desert Lights eyeshadow palette. Beautiful formula. Like, again, nothing to do with the formula, everything to do with the fact that I don't use this. I do not use this. This sits around and collects dust in my collection, and I think it's because it is an all shimmer palette. I am someone who really likes to use mattes and shimmers in my eyeshadow looks, and this is an all shimmer palette, which means I am just not reaching for it. I'm just not reaching for it. And to be honest with you, I feel like some of these shades I don't love. For instance, I'll probably never use this shade because it is a deeper shimmer. I do not mind shimmer in the crease, but I feel like I'm not going to reach for this palette to do that, if that makes sense. I really, really love these two center shimmers right here. I think those are the ones that I mainly gravitated towards whenever I did use this, which was literally like 5 times. And yeah, I don't know. These two are just kind of like not my favorite. So I just regret purchasing these. And this is kind of a word to the wise where these are beautiful. And these are really, really like high performing shadows at the drugstore. But really think about, do you use multiple palettes when you get ready? If you do, then maybe you will enjoy this. Maybe this is like perfect for your routine. I do not do that. I always just used one eyeshadow palette. And if I am using two, it's because I'm using an all matte palette and I'm throwing like a super shock shadow on the lid or something. I even tried so hard. She put this in front of me and you know what I mean? And like, I just wasn't really using it. So I regret purchasing this, and I'm hoping that this will kind of be a way to teach myself like not to purchase palettes like this anymore. So there's that one. Another eyeshadow palette. This was totally, I just bought it because it was super, super cheap, and that doesn't mean you need it. It doesn't mean that it's a, you know, it's a product that you need to have in your life or that you need to have in your collection. And again, this has nothing to do with the formula, and it's the Sydney Grace Be Mine eyeshadow palette. I love Sydney Grace. I think that they have wonderful, wonderful eyeshadows, especially, you know, their shimmer shades. Their formula is just amazing. And this palette is stunning. It really is. It doesn't perform badly or anything. This is just not a color story for me. This is not a color story for me at all. It's overall a very deep palette. Looking at the shimmer shades, there's really only 3 shimmer shades that I could use on the lids without maybe needing to pull in something that's a little bit lighter. I feel like sometimes if I go in with shimmer shades on the lids that are too dark, it can kind of close my lids a little bit, and I definitely don't want to do that. So I just kind of feel like this isn't a palette that I needed. I got this for a crazy sale. I got this for like $6. I think it was during their Christmas and July sale. Why did I say July? So funny. Christmas and July. Christmas and July sale that they do every year, which it is July. I'm so excited because Sydney Grace is going to be doing one. So definitely I'm going to stay tuned for that. But anyways, they discounted some of their palettes, and this one was discounted to like $6 or $7. So a really great price. I'm glad that I didn't pay full price for this because I definitely was interested in it whenever it came out, but I'm really glad that I got it for a good sale. Okay, so that is everything for eyeshadow. Now let's go ahead and bring it all the way back to primer. So this is a very expensive primer, and while it is gorgeous, while you know, I do think it's very pretty whenever I use it, for some reason, it's just something that I don't really gravitate towards, and it's this Valentino primer. This is the Valentino V Lighter Dual Use Liquid Light Face Base and Top Coat. So this is also in the shade Rosa, and this is stunning. This is very beautiful. I was definitely influenced to try this because of Lauren May Beauty. I was able to get it in a sample from Sephora. At least I tried it before I purchased it. And thankfully I liked it. Like thankfully I went through the entire sample and I really liked it. But I feel like it was one of those things where I'm like, okay, Lauren May Beauty really likes it. I like Lauren May Beauty, so I'm going to use it, and I like it, so then I must pick up the full size because she picked up the full size. I know that that sounds crazy, but you know how we get, right? We get influenced by some YouTubers, especially YouTubers that we love, that we respect, that we trust, and I certainly do like trust Lauren May Beauty. Like I definitely don't think that this is a bad product. Again, like I like it. It is just so expensive for what it does. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it gives me some glow, but I love the one from Rare Beauty so much. And I feel like I'm always going to gravitate towards that one over this one. So that is kind of my issue with this one. It is beautiful, but it is very expensive. I'm going to look it up right now as we speak because I know I paid a lot of money for this and I got it full price. Yeah, I paid $58 for this. This is $58 currently on Sephora. It says it's out of stock, so I don't know if it's discontinued or not, but Anyways, it's beautiful. I really do like the glow that it gives to the skin, and it really is pretty glowy. It's just, again, super expensive for what it is, and I do not use it as much, for instance, as the Rare Beauty one. Okay, then we have a foundation, and it's this one from Rimmel. I love Emily Noel. I watch her religiously. I love her so much. I watch every single upload of hers. I look forward to every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday because that's when she uploads. Like, I'm a fangirl for sure. I really, really love her channel. I will say, I do wish that she would showcase more brands that were a little bit more inclusive when it comes to the shade range, because I love that she does drugstore content, but she recommends brands a lot like Rimmel and Hard Candy, and I definitely recommend Hard Candy as well. But I also feel like, you know, there's so many brands that are doing good things when it comes to shade ranges, you know, and like, I feel like the drugstore brands are always not doing the greatest. Like, I feel like they could be doing better. So anyways, that was a side tangent, but there was a moment there, and she's still definitely like still loving Rimmel, but there was a moment there. I'm sorry, my hair is like so flat. I showered and then I blow dried it, and I feel like it's just really flat. So I'm sorry if I keep messing with it. I'm just trying to like get it to where I feel the most like confident. So I'm so sorry. I know that that's annoying. But anyways, Rimmel. She has been loving Rimmel lately. I do think that they have some really solid products, and she had been loving this Lasting Finish foundation from them, and she had been using it non-stop. So I was like, okay, you know what? I used to love this foundation back in the day, and I did enjoy it then too. So let me pick it up. You know, like I was almost like wanting to pick up like a full face of Rimmel. I'm really glad I didn't because I feel like, again, like they just have a terrible shade range, and I'm not about that. You know what I mean? Like, I try my best. I am not perfect. I realize that. Don't come for me. Like, I know I'm not perfect. I know I'm privileged when it comes to my shade. But I just want to say that, like, I try to at least be somewhat cognizant, okay? Anyways, this foundation is so freaking matte. It is so matte. It is so matte. I need to play around with it some more because I did pick it up. I do have it here in my collection, so I already did the damage. I need to play around with it some more and pair it with like seriously a very hydrating primer, because the first time that I wore this, it was so matte and so drying. And I'm honestly so surprised that that was the case, because I am someone who, like, even if it's a matte foundation, like I can usually make it work for me because I tend to be more like normal combination when it comes to my skin type. Definitely more oily in the summer because of the heat. So I'm really surprised that this was kind of heavy and like thick and like not thick, but like cakey and dry on me. So I need to play around with it, but I regret buying this. I do. I completely fell into the hype because I watch Emily so religiously, and she was just talking about Rimmel, you know, time and time again. And I'm so happy that like she recommends drugstore brands. But I didn't need this. I did not need this. I have so many foundations in my collection that I love so much that this was totally like, I did not need to buy this, but here we are. Then we have this concealer, and this is something where, again, I don't regret, like, okay, it's not a bad product. It's actually like a good product. I've only used it like maybe twice though. Like, that's what's sad about it. But I just don't use products like these. This is kind of like a fantasy product for me. And it's the NYX Pro Fix Stick Correcting Concealer. And I picked up the shade Pink, which is supposed to be a color corrector for, I want to say like blues, I think, underneath your eyes. And everybody really likes this. Like, this is a good product. This is just a fantasy product for me though. Like, I am not someone who, most of the time, I'm not taking the additional step to correct. I'm just not. I have the color corrector from Sigma. I have this color corrector. I have the e.l.f. under eye brightener. I have the, what is it? The Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer, but in the brightening shade. And now I have this one. And those just sit there and collect dust. I am just not a corrector person. Now, maybe if whenever I age, you know, I'm starting to get more of that, maybe I'll need it then. I don't know. That's not something that really runs in my family. So I don't know if that would even happen. But this was just something that like I got because I was so curious about the formula. Like so many people really like this. I think Teresa's Dead likes this. I know my friend Anna really likes these. Who else? Sarah Rose, who I watch, also really loves this, like a lot. Like she loves this. So yeah, I'm not unhappy that I have it. I'm not going to declutter it. I just know that it was definitely like a fantasy purchase for me. It wasn't something that I actually would use every day. All right. Another foundation, I actually almost forgot about this. This is from Patrick Ta. It's the Cream Foundation and Finishing Powder Duo. I bet you guys didn't even know I had this. Like, seriously. I got this. So let me like reel back a little bit. So whenever I found mold in my Patrick Ta Major Dimensions palettes, especially like my second one, like the Major Dimensions 2 palette was pretty bad, right? I took pictures. I reached out to Patrick Ta customer service. You know, I let them know that my palette was maybe like, it had definitely hit the year mark, which is what the palettes say, I believe, on the shelf life. But I have palettes that I've had for like 6 years, 7 years, and they are not doing stuff like that, right? I'm sure all of us can relate to that. And I just thought it was ridiculous, And I reached out, I let them know, look, this is happening. I've attached photos. It's happening in both of my palettes. Now, the first palette, sure, it's been a minute. The second palette, though, has been maybe a little bit over a year. Like, it's ridiculous. I have a lot of experience with makeup and eyeshadow, and that's just not something that happens. They came back and completely gave me the BS of, well, you need to be, that's just the crystallization, and, you need to make sure that you're storing your makeup in a proper, temperature controlled area, whatever. And I'm just like, what? Like, I have a lot of makeup, right? Yes, I live in a hot climate, but I have central air conditioning. I'm sorry if you heard that firework. I have central air conditioning. And so that means my house is always anywhere between like 74, 75 degrees, right? Yeah, it may get to like 78, but that's still not hot enough. And they're stored inside a drawer with the drawer closed, right? So again, nothing is happening to them. So anyways, besides the point, they apologized. They sent me a gift card. And then in my email, I think that was a $25 gift card. And then in my email, I got a $50 off coupon or something like that. And I don't know if it's because I had reached out to customer service. I don't know. Long story short, I purchased 2 things. Actually, I think it was 3 things. 3 things from Patrick Ta's site because I had those coupons. So firstly, I purchased this. This is good. It's good. But for some reason, I don't reach for it. And I think it's because it is a little bit more of a process. It's more of a chore to put this on. Again, it's the Cream Foundation and Powder Duo. So here's what it looks like. It has the cream foundation and then the powder on the top, or like here. So, I mean, it's definitely an all-in-one type of product, but the thing is, again, I just feel like this is a little bit of a chore to pull out and use because it's a formula that I'm not super used to. I mainly use liquid foundations, right? That is what I have most experience with. Some with sticks, but not really. So this is definitely something that I have to make sure that I have some time, or maybe like I'll throw this on when I work from home sometimes because again, it is like so convenient. So anyways, I just regret getting this. I feel like maybe I could have just gotten a blush, like another blush or something, which I did get a blush and that's part of this video, unfortunately. But anyways, it's not a bad product. I just don't use it, right? So I kind of regret getting this, but in a way I feel like, again, it's one of those products that I probably would have been curious about anyways. So I guess it's not too bad that I got it. Then in that same Patrick Ta order, I got one of his cream and powder blush duos, and I got it in the shade She's Wanted. This is so pigmented. It's beautiful. It's stunning. This would look so yummy on a medium to deep skin tone. Like, I'm not even kidding. This would look so beautiful on them. On me though, I have to be so careful. I will literally have this in the grave with me. That is how little product I need to use of this because it is so deep and dark and rich and pigmented. For a fair skin tone, for a light skin tone, I'm going in with like, doot, and then putting it on. Like, it is the most like smallest amount of product that I need to completely have pigment on my cheeks, right? So I kind of regret that. Now, I really, 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 really want the shade She's the Moment. It's that gorgeous coral, but I am on a blush like no/low buy, so I'm trying to stay strong and not purchase that. So that shade wasn't out yet. If it was, I definitely would have used the gift card and coupon on that, but this was something that Emily Noel was raving about. I knew I loved the formula, but again, it is just so pigmented that I feel like I am not going to use it because of that, you know? Okay, I'm really sweating. I'm really sweating. The alcohol is getting to me, like for sure. Okay, and I don't drink very often, so, okay. Okay, back to blush. And this is actually, no, it's not the last product. Okay, now to blush. This is the Say Dew Blush. I love this formula a lot. I really, really do. I also have been enjoying the liquid bronzer from Say. This is in the shade Baby. It's that very beautiful light pink color. And here's the thing. I feel like similar to the Patrick Ta stuff, similar to the Janessa Myricks, I feel like I always would have wanted to try this, right? I feel like I always would have wanted this shade in my collection because this shade, maybe not so much anymore, but it is so popular. It went viral, right? Like this was the shade everybody wanted. Everybody had this shade on their cheeks. And I do not know if I like this shade on me. I feel like every time I wear like this bright baby pink color, I feel like I don't love my makeup that day. And so I feel like I've learned my lesson that I just need to stop buying these like cool baby pink types of shades because they're just not my favorite blush color. I'm definitely more of like a nude pink kind of color blush lover, a rose type of blush lover, dusty rose, nudes, browns, right? Terracottas, like peachy tones, like more warm toned blushes is what I like to gravitate towards. And I feel like, again, I'm not unhappy to have this in my collection. I feel like, again, I would have been super curious about it and interested, but yeah. It's just a shade that I'm not super in love with on my skin tone. I think the shade is gorgeous. Like I want that to be like an everyday blush for me. And I feel like I have to think about that color for some reason. It's like a mind block. I don't understand it. All right, then the other products I actually do not have with me. So I will put them on the screen. Okay, so I recently picked up some things from Vacation. You guys are probably familiar with this brand. They're very well known for their sunscreen, especially their whipped sunscreen. Love the brand Vacation. I love so many products from them. So I had very high hopes for these products and I was super intrigued by them. Like I really thought that I was going to love them. So the first one is the Vacation facial sunscreen. It's called the Shake Shake sunscreen. First off, this foundation or this sunscreen was pretty greasy, okay? It did absorb into my skin. However, I did have to wait anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes for it to absorb into my skin. And sometimes you just don't have time for that, right? There are some days you just don't have the patience or the time to wait that long for a sunscreen to sink in. I recommend, regardless, waiting, you know, some time for your sunscreen to sink in. That way you avoid pilling, but also because you want to make sure that you're actually getting the protection, you know what I mean? But anyways, that took a little while to blend into my skin, or to sink into my skin, I should say. And it was a little greasy, okay? So I feel like if you have oily skin, I would highly, highly, highly encourage you to stay away because it was a little greasy. But again, it did sink in, it just took time. And I feel like if you have oily skin, it may not sink in as easily. It may sink in and actually make you oily, like more oily, you know? The one thing though. I could look past that though. I feel like I could look past that because it would eventually sink in, and then it wasn't like super greasy or anything after that, and I felt like, you know, makeup applied fine over top. What I couldn't get over though was the scent. The scent. The scent was so bad. The scent was so bad. It was so fragranced. It was so overwhelmingly fragranced. And the smell was their After Sun perfume. That perfume, I think it smells so gross. Like, I think it smells so gross. I love everything almost from Vacation that I have tried. I love the way that their sunscreen smells. I love the way that their perfume smells. The way, like, I have their like sunscreen facial mist behind me. I love, what else? Like, just so many products from them that I have loved. And that After Sun smell smells so bad. Like, no, I do not recommend. I think that smells really bad. And again, that's just me. That is just me. I am someone who loves like gourmands. I love coconut, banana notes, that sunscreen kind of pool smell, which is why I love Vacation scents so much. I love Sol de Janeiro scents. That After Sun scent though, I cannot get behind, and that mineral like facial sunscreen smells like that. And I would just smell it throughout, like I would get whiffs of it and I'm like, no. I returned it. I was like, this was a $24, $28 facial sunscreens. I have so many that I love from Korean beauty and J beauty brands that I was like, nah, you know, so I returned it. The second product from Vacation, again, I'm so bummed. I am so bummed that I didn't like this as well, but I did return it also, so I do need to put a picture on the screen. It is their lip oil. So they came out with a Chardonnay lip oil. It had SPF, I think 25 or 20 or 30. It had a pretty good SPF in the lip gloss or in the lip oil for your lips. I'm all about, you know, lip balms and lip oils and lip glosses that have SPF because, again, like during the summer, I want to make sure I'm applying SPF everywhere. And so I was really excited to try this. I was also super excited about the scent. Do not buy that lip oil. Just don't buy it. I regret buying it. That could actually be part of the worst of 2024. I thought about doing a worst of 2024, but thankfully I don't have a lot of products that I hated that I tried this year. So I thought I'd just do like a products I regret buying video instead. But those could easily make the list for the worst of 2024. That lip oil, it's one of those lip oils where you would apply it and it would just disappear. Like, I don't know where it went. I do not know where it went. Within minutes, I felt like I was already going in to reapply. And I was like, what is this? Like, this is not even hydrating. It's making my lips feel even drier. And the smell was not even as divine or decadent as I was expecting it to smell like. So pass on that facial sunscreen. The mineral, I know it's a mineral sunscreen and some people, like, you know, they can't do chemical sunscreens. So, you know, I know that it may sound enticing because of that. I just don't, that smell, unless you like the After Sun smell, then sure. But that smell is definitely acquired in my opinion. And then again, the lip oil, just don't recommend. So anyways, those were all of the products that I regret buying. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry again if it was a little bit negative. I'm sorry if you love some of these products. Makeup is different for everyone, right? We all have different makeup tastes and different makeup preferences, and even just skin types and texture on our skin. Like, everything applies so differently on everybody. So makeup is so personal. So please don't take it personally if you love one of these makeup products. Again, a lot of these are just products that, you know, I just don't use very much. I don't get my money's worth out of them. Therefore, I kind of regret buying them. A lot of these were just not good, except for, again, the Vacation items. I was like, no. Like, no. I clearly returned those. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, I would love for you to subscribe and be a part of my YouTube channel family here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will go ahead and see you in my next video. Bye.